Skywalker. I have been expecting you.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Don't get technical with me.
As Obi-Wan would say, Q.
Now I'm lost. What are you going for?
I just thought you were going to say, may the force be with you.
What does Obi-Wan say? He says hello there, but we're leaving, so why would I say that?
We would be honored if you would join us.
The Bad Batch episode. This one, I was when I first started watching, I'm like, oh my goodness, a ship wrecked, floating in space,
Mm-hmm.
and I got goosebumps because I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna get some like horror
Yeah.
episode, and
When
it was
you start with that
Clone
oh
Commando.
my goodness, Commando, yes, and he's scared. He's running for his life from something, and clone commandos are supposed to be these.
They're the elite of the
extremely-
elite.
Yeah, like nothing phases them, and it was just awesome. And, when he first gets taken, right? He gets kind of like pulled up, and man, I was totally thinking it was just going to be a ship full of Rathtars. That's what I
Right.
was thinking at first. I think that's kind of on my mind because I just finished the last book in the Light of the Jedi series, and they deal with Rathtars in that book. So that was kind of on my mind. But that's what I was hoping for, was to kind of see that. But I was not disappointed with what we got at all.
Mm-hmm.
And well, especially because spoiler alert for the Clone Wars, this is a very much basically a sequel episode to one of the greatest couple episodes in the Clone Wars, the Zillo Beast episodes. This was so good, and I thought it was super interesting because we know that the Emperor was trying to clone the Zillo Beast, but he was also trying to use it for armor and to learn, and it's really interesting to see how it's played out and how they're using, because Omega goes, these are Kamino cloning devices, and this is their equipment, and and so it was interesting. Like, you get that intrigue, and it's also kind of like this episode is very much Alien-esque, because the Empire is the bad organization who's trying to use this monster as a weapon. Okay, Sendit says, good job today, guys. I'm not caught up on Bad Batch, so he's going to take off to avoid spoilers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're in a Star Wars podcast. I'm going to assume that you either watched what we're talking about or just know that we're going to be talking about spoilers. I mean, I feel like that's fair. So, but it was very Alien-esque where again, the Empire is the bad organization that wants to control this animal, and I thought it was really interesting because the way it grows too, and because in its little form, it almost looks a little alien-like the xenomorph from Alien. It looks a little bit like it with the head, and
yeah, almost looks blind.
And the flashing lights and just the horror episode, it was so tense. And then I thought it was kind of funny when it escapes, the Bad Batch is like, well, we got to make sure that we save the civilians that are on the little village, because they're like, we let it out. It's basically our duty to protect those people at this point. And so I thought that really showed the conscience of the group. And it was really interesting to me because because we even start off the episode where they're talking to Sid, and Sid's kind of on her last leg here.
Yeah.
The team's about done with Sid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and so it's kind of interesting because I almost feel like she's going to come into play. Like, I don't feel like they're just gonna just like fly away and leave and we're never gonna hear from Sid again. I feel like it's gonna be a little bit dramatic if they leave. There's gonna be something on that. And because the way she's been treating him, like they were stranded and she didn't even send help. And
Yeah.
and especially with, I think what's really triggering this is the fact that Omega is starting to not be happy with Sid, and she's the one that always sticks up for her.
Right.
Mhm.
She's always the one. Well, we can help her out. You can riot race.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So and when she's losing the respect of Omega, that the rest of
Mhm.
them are probably, if you're not going to be helpful and you're just going to be not a great friend, then we'll just move on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in who this Imperial scientist is gonna develop into be. He seems very dark and obviously not a nice guy, right?
He even has a scar on his eyebrow.
Yeah, that's how you
Yeah.
know a person's bad. Like,
Yeah, he's got
that
the
means you're-
Anakin scar.
Yeah, and Anakin was
Mhm.
bad, remember? But yeah, I think he's going to be a very interesting character to see what they do with. And
Because they're going to be torturing Nala Se.
Mhm.
yeah, well, and the prime minister, he's like,
Which
he's in prison in Coruscant. Well, bring him to me. I'm not going to talk to him over a hollow. I'm not going to go there. You're bringing him to me.
is
Mhm.
interesting because this was confirmation that he was alive. I kind of assumed that he was dead.
I
mean,
did too.
Because was it Rampart? It was like, yeah, we need scientists. We don't really have a need for politicians. And
Right.
and then the red clone troopers went into the office with him, and then that was like the last we saw him.
Yeah, the doors like closed,
Yeah.
so it's like he just kind of assumed he was murdered.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
But that would make sense
But
if they were there to arrest him and take
Yeah.
him to Coruscant.
Yeah, to take him to a prison and not. Obviously, they
Mhm.
brought her to this Imperial base because this Imperial base is important. And obviously, this Imperial base is very important because you see tons of commandos there. Like they're there to go on missions from that base, and they're there to defend that base.
Yeah.
And it's
This
not
is-
like 4 of them. A squad of commandos, 4 as a deadly force. And you're
Mhm.
seeing like 30, 40. That's just what you're seeing at the time. They're
Yeah.
doing guard duty in the prison. This is not your average base. This is obviously very important to the Empire. They're not even like they know the superiority of commandos because they're not having stormtroopers do this.
Right. And well, because this is from it's Mount Tantus, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
the base
where
in
they rescued Gregor.
yes, but I mean in the old Legends books, especially the Thrawn books, the Heir to the Empire. Mount Tantus was where the Emperor basically was doing his dark cloning and trying to basically resurrect himself.
Well, it makes
And
sense
so-
why they brought her to the Camino in Nalase to this planet.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're gonna see here is that, and that's what we're kind of getting into. And I found it was interesting because uh, the Prime Minister basically tells him, well, you need to find Omega because that's the only way you're going to get her to do her job.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay.
Anybody else think he kind of sold him out pretty quick? The Prime Minister
Yeah.
I mean,
being a politician.
I think-
realistically, he's been in prison, and he's not really this. He even says that with his help, he asked for freedom, but that's a
Yeah.
Right. That's
That's-
true. He's turning for freedom, but I guess, yeah, the other thing to think about too is he probably feels betrayed, about the whole Omega thing as well, right?
yeah.
Like cuz she was basically kind of going behind his back, to protect her, so like it might have been once he found out the whole thing that he's not even her friend anymore, so now he's just like, yeah,
Mhm.
she betrayed me or whatever, so I can figure out I can give you a good way to. And then obviously he didn't care about using Omega as as a weapon or whatever they wanted, for money. So he was totally fine with that too,
Mhm.
like using her, I
Yeah.
guess, as a pawn or whatever to continue to keep the contract alive and everything. So, I don't think that either has anything to do with anything except the fact that, yeah, if he's like, oh man, I can continue to use her as a pawn and her as a pawn to get my freedom, But that was pretty quick. He was just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
know how to
mean-
do it." And then not only did he say, "I know how to do it," he told them. That was like the dumb thing, because they could have just been like, "Oh, perfect, boom, you're dead."
Yeah, completely. But I also feel like he's probably just thinking that obviously he was in prison for realistically doing nothing, but everything that the Republic wanted. And and so he's probably just realizing that, well, maybe if I help him, maybe I can uh get some freedom. But that's also a
Well,
dumb that's just
Yeah. I mean,
dumb thinking.
the Empire's never let anybody have their freedom, even
Yeah.
if they've helped them, unless you
Mhm.
are part of the Empire. But
Yep.
it kind of made me think back to our old boy Dex, right? Talking to Obi-Wan about Obi-Wan asked him if the Kaminoans are friendly, and he said depends on how good your manners are, and more importantly, how big your pocketbook is.
Yeah.
So obviously, they're a corporation. When the prime minister runs it like a business, and so obviously, that's kind of how he is.
I just think it's
I just had to bring Dex into our talk.
I just think it's kind of funny because it's naive thinking that thinks that he'll get any kind of freedom because they literally killed basically every Kaminoan there is. They basically genocide them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that the last thing they're going to do is let one of them walk free where he can tell the whole world what happened.
Especially the prime minister, somebody to have a big enough voice to be listened to.
Yep. And the only other ones that are alive are the scientists that are in Mount Tantus.
Yeah. And they are prisoners there, even if they're assisting the Empire for better conditions. They are prisoners there. Anybody else? So in the scene where they're, when the commandos are loading up the civilians because they saw the Zillo Beast and they were basically rounding them up. Anybody else think that they're going to an Andor prison?
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
my thought right away. It's like they're going to build parts with the Death Star.
Mhm.
Going to an Andor style prison.
When at first
Then I got thinking about Andor, and I'm like, oh, I want to watch that again.
At first, I thought that maybe we were gonna get the Old Republic, not the Old Republic, the Force Awakens moment where they're like, just kill the villagers, and I thought we were gonna get that where they shoot everyone down. But then when they started, they're just gonna round them up. Yeah, I totally thought, oh yeah, they're all going to prison somewhere and just gonna be working because the Empire thinks
unlike
people are cheaper than droids.
Unlike the First Order, who just mows people down. The Empire is like, no, your life's over, but you could still be a resource to us.
Yeah. And like I know this isn't in this episode, but I think just as they've won in the Bad Batch this season, it's really cool to see uh, that the Senate is still functioning, right? And it's still functioning to continue to aid Palpatine, Sidious in like his grand design, right? And I love
Mm-hmm.
that part when they feel like, they're like, oh yeah, we won or whatever, and so he comes out and basically, flips it. And it's just like, yeah, you're totally right, and we can't let this stand. Let's get him out of here. But that being the case, or whatever, like let's do what he wanted to do anyways, right? So he kind of flipped the whole script,
The
and
master
like
manipulator.
so it's so cool to kind of get those moments in there, especially since he had teased before if he would even be involved at all. So it's kind of cool to like get little glimpse of him here and there, and
Mm-hmm.
just he's such an iconic character, and his voice and everything. It's just it's just so eerie, even like in
Right.
animated form. It's so great. I love that scene. What was that, like 1 or 2 episodes prior, where he's like coming up
Yeah.
in the Senate or whatever, and I was just like, oh man,
It was the one where
he's
he
there.
the thought the irony of it, because he basically says, "Oh yeah, it was Rampart. He did do it."
Yeah.
And then but he goes, and the clones followed his orders so easy. And then he
That's
says,
dangerous.
and I'm thinking about that moment, and they're showing them shooting like a storm, like just raining down fire from the Death Stars, or the
Star Destroyers.
yeah, they weren't the Star Destroyers, they're the Clone Wars versions.
His Titan or whatever it was.
But I just thought,
Jedi's starships.
when you see that image, and then he goes, what we're gonna call the new force is the Imperial Stormtrooper. And I'm like, it literally came from a storm. Like,
Mhm.
because it's always raining in Camino, and then just a rain of blaster bolts fire down on the city. Like, the irony of the name, that's what I pictured. And wow, that was a powerful moment. And yeah,
Mhm.
Ian McDiarmid, you get chills because he's such a bad guy, but also you're like, he's such a good actor.
I know. Amazing. Yeah, I'm super excited to see, where Bad Batch goes. I mean, they've made some big changes, just coming up to this episode too. You know, um, I thought Crosshair's loss, early on, that was kind of a big deal, changed up the dynamics, and then now, you lose another Bad Batch character, to Rex basically.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like changing up the dynamics, which changes stuff within it. I love that episode too, where Tech, he's so like thinks methodically, and isn't, doesn't care about feeling so much, or at least doesn't show it, right? And basically is like, we only need Omega because she knows too much about us, basically, like, she already knows so much about the Bad Batch,
Oh, you mean Sid?
to or Sid, yeah. Sid already knows too
Yeah.
much, right? And so like you're starting to see like, okay, Sid, now there's like kind of like a rupture, like you were talking about. And then, like Omega was friends with her, so there's a little bit of a break. And then even like her, like Omega with Tech, that is kind of like ruptured a little bit, like her trust, I guess, in him. And so yeah, it's kind of like I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see where they move forward with all of these big events while they're still trying to figure out this new crew, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I really liked this episode, not just for the horror aspects and everything, but the fact that it related so much back to the Clone Wars episodes, and the way the Beast is, and because they even say it in the show, they're like, they're not killing it, they're
Yeah.
capturing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it almost makes you feel because, like, even Anakin didn't want to kill the Zillo beast. And so they tried to just take it away, but then, the Jedi try to do something nice, and here's Palpatine going, "We need to study it and tear it apart for research," and then, "Oh, also, we want you to clone it so we can use it for a weapon."
Yeah.
And so and that's what this is. You're seeing the result, and it was interesting to see it as basically a baby. But the
Yeah.
fact that all I had to do was eat some energy, and it's just like
Mhm.
blowing up. It was real interesting.
Yeah.
And-
Palpatine's like, like what parts of this can I like add to myself so I can be stronger and live longer?
Yeah. So he can have
Can we
unlimited power.
like get oil off of it for like face cream?
He's got a lot of wrinkles that need a little touching up.
Oh, you're muted, bro.
Yeah, you're muted, Q.
I think he needs more than a cream can handle.
That's what happens when you have unlimited power.
He needs a he needs a little bit of essence transfer from his granddaughter.
That was actually kind of an interesting take. So, I mean, because you can see that they're still working on cloning, and
Yeah.
that's basically I think what they even talked about in this episode was that the Empire didn't destroy Kamino to stop cloning. They did it because he wants to control it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a really good line. I like that.
And
Yeah.
it was a real interesting, he wants to basically control because he doesn't want anyone to be able to clone stuff because, his fear is probably someone's cloning a Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or figuring out how to do that.
Vader.
And so, but he also wants to create powerful creatures and beings that he can inhabit. So
Mhm.
it was an interesting way, and it's kind of just the way the clone troopers looked so ominous and they look scary, and for the first time I'm like, those are supposed to be the good guys, and I'm like, those are bad dudes.
The
Mhm.
commandos.
Yeah. When they're rounding up all the citizens and stuff, and it was like,
Yeah.
this is not a good image.
Mhm. Even when they're bad, they're good. Like they're just too cool. You're just like just seeing them is just like, oh, I love it. Their helmets and everything just looks so cool. It was awesome to see, like you were saying, like a bunch of them too. Like it was cool to see like
Yeah.
a gang of them. And
I wonder if this opens the opportunity for a Republic Commando sequel
oh
in the
man,
early times of the Empire.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be
that'd be
so
awesome.
great.
Imperial Commandos.
Well, we're getting to about that time. We're going to start wrapping up. I did want to do one thing first because Quentin got me something a while ago now. But he's like, well, you can't open it until you do it on a podcast. So it's been sitting downstairs wrapped for like a couple months now. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that, and I'll do that. I'll switch that over here so you can see a little bit more. But
This is gonna be like the most epic prank of all time.
that would be great.
You have to do it live.
Do it live, yeah. Oh, that would be funny. But it's all here.
Unfortunately, I didn't think of a prank. That'd have been way cooler.
So it is.
Oh, nice.
So
That's sick.
the Black Series has a pretty cool. It's Trapper Wolf's helmet. If you don't know, that's Dave Filoni's character from the Mandalorian.
Hmm.
And so, I need.
We all love Dave.
Oh, the dog Soka's trying to get all the paper.
No.
So I need a knife so I can go ahead and open this. I think that's where you open it. There's tape there, so why not?
I don't know. It might actually fit you. You've got a small head.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's wrapped in plastic. I've never done an unboxing before.
This is your first ever live unboxing.
Live unboxing.
You're doing pretty good so far.
I don't know. We really can't see the box that well. I'm kidding. It's fine. It's fine.
No, it's good. Ooh. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Now you can pretend to be Ray, pretending to be somebody else. Moment of truth.
Come on, baby. Oh,
big on him.
Yeah, it's a little
nice.
big. It's
That's
awesome
crazy.
though.
That's sweet.
The design is cool because it even has like a thing for a mic. You still got the mic right here,
Oh, that's cool.
so you can flip out the mic.
Like you're an actual X-Wing
That's
pilot.
pretty cool. That will go on my desk somehow.
I need help. I need help. They're all over me.
There's too many of them. At that speed, you'll never pull out in time. Never tell me the
Hey.
odds.
That's not the same.
Nope, I know.
We're just saying everything.
Yeah, all the lines.
Steady. Steady.
No, it's pretty sweet. So
That's
that'll
awesome.
that'll be part of my display. You'll see in my background. So that's pretty
Nice.
cool. And at that, I think we are going to sign off. Thank you to everyone who joined us, to Claire Bear, to Send It.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are. And Quentin commented a bit in the chats. If you're listening to us later, please go follow us on Twitch. Just hit that follow button. Even if you don't watch live, it just helps us grow the channel and everything that we're trying to grow here, so that we can make more fun content for you guys.
Yeah. So our very first our giveaway too. Our giveaway winner, our Patreon member, Togo Bat Bruce. He picked Jedi Survivor, which they pushed the date out. So we still haven't even got that for him. But yeah, as soon as that comes out, he's still gonna get his giveaway. And yeah, I'm sure since we did the switch over to Twitch, maybe we could end up doing something like that. Our next giveaway, maybe when we reach affiliate or something like that, do
Yeah.
something cool. But yeah, we'll chat about it, and something cool will be on the horizon. So we appreciate everybody supporting us on Twitch.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to share about your own projects?
I've got nothing going on. This is all I got. I'm kind of boring. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll say me. So for me, every Thursday, at let's go with Eastern time. Most people like Eastern time. So at 3:00 Eastern time, I am a new co-host on a show called Rock Players. Basically talk about gaming news, all things revolving around gaming, which is pretty cool. And then every Tuesday, once again, 3 p.m. Eastern time, Hezekiah and I have another show called My Next Gen Gaming, which is a play on obviously next generation consoles and the fact that Hezekiah is my son, so he's my next generation. And we basically stream some games, hang out with chat. It's kind of just like an open conversation and talk about whatever. Sometimes Hezekiah just plays, other times we do some co-op games. But that is also on the Rock Show channel on YouTube, and it streams on Hezekiah's Twitch as well. So Hezekiah's Toys and Games Twitch. So that's kind of what we got on a weekly basis. Besides that, we do some streaming every now and then on his Twitch channel, just playing games or whatever. And that's kind of random, not a specific time, but his Twitch channel, is Hezekiah's Toys and Games.
Nice.
Looks like Attack the Backlog is just interested in what games you'd be streaming.
Oh. In the chat?
Yeah.
Attack the Backlog. Hey. Good to see you in here, man. Let's see.
Attack the Backlog.
Next?
Is that referring to your Steam backlog? Everyone's got one of those of all the games they've never played.
Yeah, for sure.
You saw it on sale once. You had to buy it. Never opened it.
Yeah. I have so many games. Even right now, like I have like 3 games that I got and I thought I was going to play, and they're just like sitting there. I haven't even installed them or anything like that. But yeah, I know him actually from his Nintendo content. So he does
Nice.
a lot of content like on Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what Hezekiah and I play, a lot of Nintendo Switch, a lot of Xbox. I think the next game we're going to be playing will be Nintendo Switch. It is Star Trek Prodigy Supernova. So it's basically a game in connection with the Star Trek animated show.
Lower Decks?
Star Trek.
No,
No,
the newer
Prodigy.
one, Prodigy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
so
I've watched Lower Decks. I haven't watched.
and it's actually
that
super
that
cool.
one is more Lower Decks
Lower
is more
Decks
making fun of
probably, yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it.
Prodigy is more of a
Yeah.
it's more of a kids friendly, but more like less mockery.
So it's
of
the Clone
Star Trek,
Wars.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of. Yeah.
I've seen
Probably
several
doesn't
episodes of it.
touch on as high of subjects like slavery or anything like the Clone Wars does, but
No. Yeah, and it's made by Outright Games, which Hezekiah and I are ambassadors, so we got the code for free, and we have one to give away, which is really
Nice.
cool. And yeah, what I really like about it is I got to see an interview with the developers of the game, and they actually work super closely with the show. So like with Paramount and everybody involved in Star Trek to make
Nice.
sure that the storylines meshed and, nothing was clashing. And it was just like a cool addition to the show versus, like a standalone. So basically, like if you've seen the show, it'd be really cool to play the game. Or if you play the game, then watch the show, you're going to see lots of cool connections. But yeah, so
are we allowed to
yeah.
talk Star Trek on a Star Wars channel?
Hey, this is after the show. This is freestyling over here.
After
And the
after
chat
show?
asked. The chat asked.
yeah, that's yeah.
That's fair.
I mean,
I was gonna say, speaking of backlog, does just having Game Pass kind of count as a backlog? Because
right.
Oh man.
there's
Yeah,
more
if you
there
have
than
Game
could ever
Pass.
play.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
So for myself, I currently coming up, we're gonna be doing our podcast on this channel on Twitch, but I'm also going to be doing any Star Wars games that I'm playing and streaming. I'm gonna be doing on this channel. I play other games and stuff on my Darth Canuck Twitch. That's where I'll play. Like I play a lot of Apex and stuff like that. That's where I'll be playing there. Any Star Wars games will be here on this channel. And then I haven't really come up with a name yet, but I'm trying to get together basically build my own kind of media company where I'll be editing and stuff and for YouTube channels and whatever, and basically stuff like that. Trying to get into some of that stuff. So if you need your podcast edited or your YouTube video edited, I will have more information on that and the company I'm going to start hopefully soon. I got to get Kaloni working on the logo.
Nice.
Yeah, again, thanks to her for all the art she's provided for this channel
Yeah,
we've had
big
so
time.
far. Hopefully, we can maybe get some
And
stuff to put on some merch soon.
I was like, "Where? Can I point at it?"
Maybe
But,
closer. Bring your hand. There you go.
And then she also did this pencil drawing right here, which is super sweet of Ahsoka. So,
and if you want to follow her on Twitch, she is currently streaming right now. She just does all kinds of art. I'm gonna post the link in the chat here if you want to go ahead and follow her.
If you're in chat, if you want to give us a follow, so you have some notifications when we go live, we appreciate all the follows we can get.
Yeah, big time.
It doesn't cost anything. We're not asking for any donations. We're just looking for some follows. Sorry, you guys had so much to say. I feel like I needed to say something.
Anybody
right.
have some follows?
All right, well,
Please,
thanks
can I have some more follows.
Thanks for everyone for joining. We're gonna head out now.
Yep. All right.
Q.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Are we gonna raid somebody? Is that, can we do that?
I don't think you can tell you're an affiliate, right?
Affiliate? Yeah, I don't think so either. No. I brought it up, but I was like, oh wait, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you as well. You have an awesome night backlog as well, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye.